Hey guys, welcome to Sippin' and Spillin' with Sid from 3 Mississippi. I hope you're having a wonderful day. As you can see, it's nighttime right now. And this is the first chance all day that I've had a chance to sit down and do a Sippin' and Spillin'. Had to kind of switch gears a little bit. So y'all know we're working on the brooder. We're expecting the birds this week. You always get those, due to ship out the week of February 17th when you order, and it could come, any of those days. Well, I just got an email just now that due to the Arctic blast, the cold weather that's in the areas, that they're not shipping any live animals because of the potential delays, which I prefer. I rather them not ship them, and risk getting a box of dead birds in the mail. Because I've heard of stories of that's happened to people when there's been extreme weather. So obviously you don't want to do that. But now that gives us an extra week, which means another weekend to work on the brooder. And Mike's actually currently working on it right now. As I sit out here, I just was making dinner for them. And we are due to get some snow down here. Some snow, some sleet, and some rain all together over the next 24 hours. So we're under that winter weather watch notice. I'm still kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, because I know if it gets cold enough and we get enough precipitation where it could be icy, they'll likely cancel school tomorrow. Because the South does not like ice. So they will definitely cancel. But I ended up today, because we thought, this morning that, he got one wall up and one of the windows in. Yes, it's got a window. He's getting very fancy with this brooder. You guys will see that coming up here in the next video, probably. Hey, Bunk. Basically, he got one wall done yesterday, or last night, I should say, after work. And then he wants to make a little bit of progress tonight, now that he knows he has a little bit of time and it's really cold out there. And he's working kind of in the shop and outside. Obviously, he's probably not going to work on it as long tonight, since we're not under the time crunch we thought we were under. But because we thought we were under that time crunch, I actually went and picked up the paint for the inside. So this is where some of the switch up has happened. Because in the brooder, obviously you have to have electricity, because you have to have your heat plates. And so you've got to have your ability to plug that in, right? And then also this will be used potentially for when I don't have birds in there brooding, that I might, in the off season, stick an injured bird in there that needs to be quarantined, or a breeding pair, or I don't know what. Like, there's always a need to separate an animal, it seems like, and I never seem to have enough spaces to separate them. It doesn't matter how everything goes. It always seems like you're just a little bit short on some of that space. Even when we lived in Ramona and we had those kennels that were there, it was still kind of sometimes like, man, I wish I had one more spot, So I would end up using the brooder that we had built there. And that brooder, we had run an extension cord basically across the yard, which was okay as long as it wasn't raining. And here, obviously, it rains a lot in the spring and in February and the end of winter here. So it's too difficult to have just, a cord laying across there. So he is running electric into the brooder, which is basically he's tapping it off the shop. So he decided that instead of doing the OSB, and I'm on the fence about this, guys, I'm going to be real with you. I get where he's going, but I also have my concerns. So I'll lay it out for you, and you tell me what you think in the comments. The coop, the chicken coop that we built, has OSB on the inside, which is, like thick plywood, right? For those of you that don't know. And it's rough, like the surface of it is rough. So when you paint it, it really soaks up the paint. You go through a lot of paint, but like in the chicken coop rather, for example, when I go in there and gut the bedding, I usually do that at least twice a year. and I clean it every day, but I gut it twice a year. The inside, I hose it all down. We've got the vinyl flooring on the bottom, and I hose it all down and I scrub it all out and make it like new again, right? He wants to, instead of using the OSB on the inside of the brooder, which is hard to paint, like I mentioned, it's hard because it soaks it up and it goes through a lot more, and it's hard to really get it on there, and it's kind of a pain in the butt and all that good stuff. He wants to use drywall because he thinks it will be, or he said it will be easier to cut all of the outlets and the things that he needs to cut into than doing it in the OSB. My concern is that, you know, drywall is not really an indoor-outdoor kind of material. And it is going to be fully dried in. In fact, I haven't had a chance to respond to the comment because I just saw it pop up a little bit ago. But basically, if you guys watched the video that came out today, as you're seeing this yesterday on Tuesday, where they put the OSB down and then they did the whatever that rollout stuff is that goes on top of it, and then they're going to be doing like a metal on top of that to like help run the water off, to help make it more airtight, so that number one, with the baby birds, because we often start in February and March when we still have a lot of frosts and freezes, in order to get all the birds we want done for the season, we want to eliminate any drafts. So he has dried it in, he's insulated the floor, and all of that is kind of to make sure that, you know, wasps aren't getting in there and building nests, skunks and things aren't getting in there, and that there won't be any drafts, which is all great. My thing, and I mentioned this to him, I was like, I'm a little worried about, you know, when it comes to clean out time in between birds or at the end of the season when I need to really scrub it down, I can't just hose off the drywall, you know, the way that I can. And I know I shouldn't be like hosing off the OSB either, but like I do. And it's kind of an indoor-outdoor material in a way. So I'm not like super, I mean, it's not, but it is. Like, it's not like a, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but like it's a little more like rugged, right? It's a little more like it can take a beating. It's not fully like dried in the way that a drywalled building would need to be to keep the drywall from disintegrating, right? So I tried to get a really good paint that I could, that was like scrub, it said something about being like good for scrubbing and whatever, so I could still like scrub it, because if you've ever raised birds, you know, when they get to the point right before you've got to put them out to pasture, they're flying up in the air a little bit, and they're trying to jump up, and they're spraying poop, and they're flinging stuff, and they're doing bird stuff. So it ends up on the walls. But we are doing which I talked Mike into doing, the vinyl flooring partway up the walls. So it really will only be like more of the top part. And it's not like there's going to be roosts in there or anything. We are going to build a divider and things like that. But yeah, so I'm a little on the fence about it, but I think it'll be fine when it's all done. I'm just going to have to be really careful about how I clean it out, I guess. And my plan is to basically put sand directly on the vinyl and then do the shavings on top, because I think that will be easier for me to be able to keep it clean. Plus it'll add a little more insulation at the bottom. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. The sand has worked really well for me in the main coop. I am a convert 100% to just doing sand. So it's not always very easy to find. But when you can get it, like Tractor Supply doesn't carry it, Scruggs doesn't carry it. You have to go to like a Home Depot or something, and find a sand that will work. Which is kind of funny to me, because it's really easy to clean it out. Like, it's so much easier. just a long-handled kitty scoop every day, and I clean it all out. And then, you know, eventually, just like with kitty litter, you've got to gut it and start again, you know, but by then you've scooped enough of the sand out that, you know, anyway. So here before spring, I'll gut it and have it all happy pristine again. But anyway, so long story short, I did go into Tupelo. I needed to pick up some more shavings, which I'm looking at them. They're on the front porch here. I just dragged them over here out of the truck earlier before I had to leave again. So I got some of those, and because our livestock grocery, I called them to see if they had water tanks, you know, the big rubberized water troughs. Because I got 2 of them from them over the years, and Mike and I were talking, and he's like, well, if I don't get it done and the birds come, and I said, look, I'll just do them in my office in tubs. And he said, well, we need to get another water trough anyway, because of how we're going to be having the paddock split and rotationally grazing. So I actually found another one that's much more shallow. I forget how many gallons it is, but it's much more shallow and it's bigger. So for if I have to keep them for like a week in my office, it'll work just fine. Do you want to come back up? I know you don't like that this bench moves, but you want to be on mommy's lap. I know. He's like, what is this mystery of the swing? But anyway, so it'll work for that. And then it'll be a lot easier I think it'll be easier when we're moving the sheep. This one will be easier to dump it out and move it daily versus the other troughs I have. Even when they're empty, they're really heavy. I mean, not like really heavy, but they're like, it takes a while. You got to drain them and you have to fill them up enough. You basically have to fill them so that they can get to the water. So I figured having a more shallow one, maybe not during not kidding, I'm not doing goats, but lambing season, I've heard some stories of young lambs like falling into the troughs if they're too low. So I'll probably still put it up on bricks, like cinder blocks, but I'll be able to dump it a lot more easily when I'm moving them in the pasture. So anyway, so I got that, which is going to go upstairs probably, unless we get it done before they get here, which I'm hoping, especially, you know, granted, we're going to have a little bit of a weather delay here with some ice and snow the next couple of days. But I think that worst case, if I have to brood them upstairs in my office, I can listen to them chirping while I edit. This will keep them happy. I will have to move my indoor cat's litter box, and his food and his little cat tree are in my office. I'll have to move those out so that I can keep the door to the office closed so that Marty doesn't get any ideas, because he's not used to really being raised around the chickens because he's an inside cat. Bunko is like, he seems to understand when I have babies in the garage in the brooders, like he leaves them alone, and I'll leave it open, let it air out in the garage when I did them that first year. And so he seems to get it. But Marty doesn't. And when I used to hatch the quail specifically in the incubators, I was constantly hatching quail. He would get on top of the incubator and sleep on it. And then when they would start chirping, he was like, what's up, what's up, what's up? So I feel like he can't be trusted around the babies. Just my opinion. So, but yeah, so anyway, I did run around and do that today, and tomorrow's already Wednesday, today's already Wednesday as you guys are seeing this. I know we have our live with you guys tonight, and I've got a lot to do before Friday, which I didn't realize that I had so much to do, but I do. So, but it's fine. We're gonna get it all done. I've got a couple of phone calls that I have to make. Somebody that lives in the area I don't know if he watched our channel or somebody mentioned it to him. Anyway, he got a hold of us and is wanting something for this book that he is publishing. And I guess he asked a couple of weeks ago, I think it's been probably coming up just now on 2 weeks. But last week I was so busy. I just, honestly, it was just backburnered it. I just couldn't you know, anyway, so he wants me to help him like make a video, I guess, for his book. I'm not sure. I don't have all the details, but I need to call him back to just to find out the details and see if it's even something that I can or want to do to try to squeeze into my time frame. I do have a sponsorship that I need to get filmed here soon. Hopefully after it's not freezing, and a couple of other, you know, things like that. Frankie's got some functions this weekend, so I need to help her like get ready for one of them, and she's going to a banquet for the soccer team because her boyfriend's on the soccer team. So she's got a new dress and she's gonna do her hair all pretty and whatever. So got to get all that stuff squared away for her this weekend in between working on the brooder and everything else. And I've found lots of lambs, but they're far away. And some of them, so far I haven't found any that are not registered. And I don't need them to all be registered. So I'm trying to, because I don't need to pay registered prices for what we're doing. So for meat, basically. So I did find some in Tennessee that I might try to go get that were, I thought, a little more reasonably priced for what I need. And then still on the hunt for some regular ones. I still have a couple more people I'm gonna call about that, but hard to find the time. Like I'm running around so much during, I guess what you would say is business hours, that sometimes it's hard for me to, like, you know, I'm like, oh, it's 2 in the morning. Like I can't call them right now, you know, like that would not be appreciated. So anyway, trying to think of these things, and I leave myself notes and lists and whatever, but I still manage to, you know, get sidetracked. So anyway, birds got delayed due to weather. I'm hoping we're gonna get some snow because I still get excited when we get a little bit of snow here because it's fun. And yeah, just chugging away at everything, but that's it. That's where we're at. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I hope you join us tonight for our Wednesday night live. Maybe I'll have even more updates for you on more things, because hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to make some phone calls and maybe lock some things in. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. We will see you tonight at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time and on 3 Mississippi. And until then, remember, stay blessed and safety's off. Ooh, don't fall off the bench.